Hey yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Clone Components. Anyway, this episode we're basically going to get into some regex with, we're going to make this component basically, the description. We're not going to worry about too many of the other details. We're just focusing in on the description, and what they're able to do is they're parsing the user's input, and if it's a time, this will create a link you can click on. And when you click on it, it goes to the time exactly 2:41:40. It'll go to that time of the video, which is pretty cool for if you don't want to spend 3 hours watching a YouTube video. You can hop around to the points that are relevant. Also, external links. Some of them do go back to YouTube. Different, maybe you want to subscribe or go to a different related video or channel, or Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. You can put links to anything, and you can also put in hashtags, and a hashtag will automatically put that term into the search box and execute that search. So there's the main three things: the video, the search, and the external link. So we're going to cover that, and we're going to build a little bit of the UI. Like, we're going to have a video, and then this, but the video we'll only have in just so I can show you how these time links work. We'll get a surprise code sandbox. Let me do it. It was pretty cool. We'll use the code sandbox, and we'll hop around our video. We'll have external links, obviously, and we won't actually have a search, but we will parse that search term out, and it would be up to your app to implement the search functionality, basically. That's what I'm saying. So you'll see. Here we go. So we start out with a brand new code sandbox, and added dependency of style components, our go-to styling library visual primitives for the component age. So we've got that, and I always like to hide that. I open up an external browser. So let's see here. We got styles.css. What do they got in here? We're gonna bag that and just say HTML font size of 10 pixels. That means one rem is 10 pixels. It's a nice round number. Body, we'll just say padding, I don't know, 3 rem or something like that. So we don't really have to worry about that. We can pretty much get rid of everything they've got right there. We're going to use a class that extends react.component. It has some state, which is an object. It's going to have a component did mount. There's a method. It's going to have a render method. And that render method is going to return JSX. So next, we're going to create a new file, and we'll just call that styles.js. And in here, we're going to import style components, and let's say const container is going to be a style.div backtick, and we'll export default container. Okay, and over here, we'll import the container from /styles. So that'll just make it easier to keep our style separate, so we don't have to scroll like crazy in our main file. So we're going to have a container, and we're going to have a couple of divs in there. And we're not going to do much. This side div is just going to represent the list. The over on this side, and we're just going to focus in on this side. So we're just kind of mocking out a little bit of the UI. We're not going to really go into it too much. New file, we're going to have a file called data.js, and I'm going to make a link to, before I put it in a gist for some reason, I'm just going to make a link to this sandbox, so you can just look in the sandbox and get this data, pasting it in here. So this data, save it. This data, just exporting default an object. It's got a video URL, which is one of my other videos that's actually in, it's in one of my Amazon S3 buckets. So that's just the MP4 video we're going to use. The duration of the video, which is 458 seconds, in the description. So this description is going to show it's formatted with the template string. So this string is really long here. We're going to learn how to deal with the really long strings, and it's got the times. So this is about 7.5 minutes or something, I think. So we've got times that fall within the video, or we've got times that don't exist, like that, and times that are outside the length of the video. So we should probably deal with some of those edge cases. And we've got a bunch of links, and we've got a couple hashtags. So we've got everything we need, just simple data, three things of data that we're going to use for this project. So over here in index.js, we can just call it video, I guess, from /data. You can call it whatever you want. So we shall begin. And I guess we can just begin by kind of scaffolding out a little bit of the UI here. So we're definitely going to have a video component. That's going to have a source and so on controls. I'm not going to put autoplay on. You can put autoplay if you want, but I don't want to have that playing in the background. So that's going to be video.video URL from our data. If I save. Then what we're going to have, we'll just start out with a div here. Inside this div, we'll put the video.description in there. And then we'll have another div. And this is going to be that show more at the bottom. So you see you can expand and contract with the show more button. So we're going to have that in there too. I will show you how to do that. So I hate when it does this. Something about it's not working. Yada yada. Okay, show me my stuff. Thank you. Okay, so this obviously looks absolutely ridiculous right now. And so we're going to have to add some styles. So this outer container, this is where we split it between the side with the video and the side with the list we're not going to worry about. Say display grid. Grid template columns, we'll go 75%, 25%. And we'll just say and child. So this is the side with 75% or the video side. And we have that video in there. We'll just say the 600 pixels. I'll make it 800 pixels. Normally, you might not necessarily set a hard-coded height and width. You know, if you had an actual nice site, but we're just doing the main goal of this is to show the parsing of the description. So there we have it. Now we have respectable size video, and see, now this text looks ridiculous, and it's not formatted. So first thing we can do is use a pre-tag. So a lot of this video is just going to be kind of coaxing this description text into what we want it to be. So with the pre-tag, now formatting is preserved, and it already is looking better than it did. I'll make the screen a little bigger. It's already looking much better than it did, in fact. So now you will notice that everything is, you definitely notice it's running into the next div. Even though we have a grid, it's like, okay, we're literally going to pre-format this exactly how you had it. So it's running off over into the next div. That's horrible. So we're going to style some of that. So in here, we'll target the pre-tag. And we'll give the pre-tag a width of 600 pixels. We'll say white space, pre-wrap. That's going to help with the wrapping. Font family, say Arial. Font size, 1.4 rem or 14 pixels. Get some padding on the left-hand side. 5 rem or 50 pixels. And we'll say overflow is going to be hidden. Boom. So, okay, now it's starting to look respectable. See, it's got that indentation just like they have here. Of course, we didn't do this stuff, but it's got the indentation. It's about the right length for maximum length. So, okay. So far, so good. Next, we will target this div right here. So we can probably just get away with div. And I'm just going to copy and paste over and then explain some of the style so you don't have to show me type everything. Text transform uppercase. Make everything uppercase. Font family and size. Dark gray color. Little margin on top, little padding on bottom, and cursor pointer because it's going to be like a button. So we'll save that. And now that Showmar is, looking respectable. Now, how do we parse out these times and these links? How the heck do we do that? All right, so we're going to make a new file called linkify.js. And there's actually an NPM library called Linkify that actually I think I've never used it. I looked at it when I was learning all this stuff, and it's a I don't think it's a huge library, but it's got way more than the code we're going to do. Just, I don't know, maybe 50 lines of code or something like that. That's much more code. Plus, you don't learn anything if you use a library. So you can, as a note, find the Linkify library, and I'm not exactly sure on the features, but it's going to be similar to what we put in here. So this stuff's going to blow your mind here. When I paste this in. So you're going to want to change this sandbox. This is the front end URL. You're going to want to change this. This is the URL. Actually, that's for my, I have to change mine too. So I'm going to copy that from this page out here, because it is different. It does have a similar identifier number, but this live view is different. So I need to change that to my new URL. I want to make sure I don't have that backslash on there just because of the way I set up my code. Now, these are pretty much mumbo jumbo regex expressions. Now, RE is kind of my abbreviation for regex. This one is for URLs. So those are those external links we want. I got one for times, and I've got one for hash tags. Now, it's kind of hard to explain all this regex stuff. The /G means it's going to capture more than one per input of text that you give it. So obviously we want to find all the times, all the URLs, and all the hashtags. So the G signifies we're not going to just find one, because the default behavior is to just find one and stop. G maintains that you keep going, keep getting as many, greedy, if you will. I is for ignore case. So it's going to ignore case when it's looking for these URLs. So basically it's looking for HTTP. This S is optional. That's what the question mark means. Then it's looking for various combinations of letters separated by various punctuation. It's got 2 escaped backslashes here, so, or forward slashes here. I'm not going to get too much into these. You can Google regex for different things, and once you have a basic understanding of regex, you can then kind of tweak the regex you find to fit your situation, and kind of come up with your own even simpler regexes. These bigger ones are hard, especially like this one for time is set up to do the hour, minute, second format. So this whole section right here is looking for hour, minute. And the question mark after means it's optional. So it's looking for basically a 0 or 1 followed by a digit for hours. And then it's looking for, in the minutes, only 0 to 5. Obviously, you can't have 1 hour and 62 minutes. So that gives you a little rough idea. And you can't, same goes for seconds. It's looking for 0 to 5, then any digit, because it can be 0 through 9. Space afterwards, space before. And then the hashtag is basically looking for a hash, a space in the beginning, which is optional, a hash mark, and then letters or numbers, or dash or period, followed by another space. So it's not really looking for funky characters, it's looking for text or numbers for hashtags. So dollar sign means end of tag, caret means beginning of tag. So those are a few little tidbits, but you basically look at the more you look into regex, the more you'll learn about it, and you know it's a pretty powerful tool, and it's the total key to this this project. So now we're going to make our actual function here. So we're going to export default function. We don't even actually have to name it, but it's going to take in the whole video, and it's going to return video.description dot replace. So now we can use these regexes. So we'll replace any match to that URL, and then you can use a callback function. Obviously, you can replace it with nothing if you want, but you can also make the return a function. So the first parameter to this function is the match you actually found. So we're going to take that URL we find and then return a string in its place. But we're also going to use that in this link. So in a template string, we're going to return a link with that URL as the href. We're going to set target equal to blank, meaning it'll open up in a new window because it's an external link, right? Closing tag for that. And then we're just going to put that URL as the text of the link as well. So that's fairly simple. So we can save that. Now we'll do one step at a time. So in here, we will import Linkify from /Linkify. And then inside of our pre, we will just Linkify the video. Because remember, we did separate the description off in the function. That's because later on, we're going to check the duration against the time. That way we don't have links to times that don't exist. All right? So now, look, we've got our links. Only problem is they're plain text. They're not showing up as links. But we can see that our formatting is working so far. So to get around that, we're going to use a little trick called dangerously set inner HTML. Sounds really horrible. So you set that equal to an object. So you have to use kind of like the double curlies. And the property is __ HTML. And then we can set that to linkify the video. And then we save that. And now it's putting out, when it finds those HTML tags within our text, it's going to actually turn those into HTML components rather than just spit the text out. So it's actually parsing. React is going to parse our text for us and give us our tags. So that's pretty cool. And now we can go inside of our pre, style our A tags with text decoration of none and color of Dodger blue. Save that. And now they look a lot like, even though maybe they're a little darker, but you get what I'm saying. They look better than they did. And if you click one, it's going to open up an external link just like it's supposed to. If you can't tell, I like MMA. I think that guy just won tonight. So those are our links. Now we are using JavaScript, so we can just chain these replace functions together. So then we can say right at the end of this one, so this is the first one, then we can, basically it's going to just keep returning. It's going to return what it just gave us. And we can just say, okay, we're also going to replace the regex time. That's going to be a function of time. Obviously, you could also do this style of function too. You can say, well, function of time, like that. I just like the arrow function syntax here. It's just a little more efficient for space. So here's where we have to pick out, oh man, what if the duration, what if the time the user puts there is longer than the video? That's a problem. So I've got a helper function for that. And this is going to convert hours, minutes, second format to seconds based on a string, which is the, 0000, whatever string. And basically it's going to split it on the colons, and it's a really clever little function where it's popping. So it's going to pop from, if you can imagine a string, whoops. That would be 10 hours, 2 minutes, and 30 seconds. So it's going to pop off, it's going to split on the colon. So the first thing it pops off is this. It multiplies it by m times 6, multiplies it by m, which is 1 in the first go around. So boom, it adds 30 seconds. But then it multiplies m by 60 because next go around is going to be these 2 minutes. So it's going to parse int to turn a string into an integer. It's going to get 2. It's going to multiply 2 by 60 this time. 2 by 60 because m is going to be 60 here because each minute is 60 seconds. And then next go around, we're on hours now, so it's going to multiply 60 again. So it's going to spit out in seconds. It's a pretty clever little function. So what we're going to do is say const sex equals formatting function time. So we're going to capture that time the user put in, convert it over to seconds. I'm going to say if seconds is greater than our video dot duration, we'll just return that time stream we captured without doing anything to it. So it'll still appear in the UI, it just won't be a link. Else, we'll return another template string. It's going to be a link with an href equal to. So if I have that front end URL, you're going to see in a second. It's pretty cool. Front end question mark time equals sex pulls the link off. Inside of it, we're going to still display that time. So in our, this is called a query parameter, URL parameter. That question mark starts the parameters. So time is going to equal an integer of seconds. So we can actually use, state that, we can actually use this thing to set this time in seconds to set our video to that time, just like they do in YouTube. So now we pop over, and you will notice this is longer than the video. The video is 7 minutes 38 seconds. This time does not exist. There's no such thing as 2 minutes and 90 seconds. All these other ones do exist, and you can see down at the bottom there, it's a link to our URL. For some reason, it's got that slash there that I accidentally put a slash in. For some reason, that slash is there. I don't want it to be, but I think it's going to be okay. Go back to our index, and this is where we're going to do some stuff in component did mount. So inside of component did mount, we can actually say, we can say const params equals new URL search params. It even pops up in our little helper menu. And then we're going to pass in window.location.search. So window.location is basically the URL, but .search is going to be those query params. And we're constructing a new URL search params object here. So we can then say const time equals params.get time. That's what we called it in our Linkify. So whatever we call it here, that's how we get it with the get function. And then we can say if time, because there's not always going to be a time. It could just be a normal URL without the time. We're going to give a ref to this video. So we'll say ref element this.video equals element inline ref, real easy. Now we have access to this.video dot property called current time, and we can set that equal to parse int time. To be sure, it's a integer. Parse int 10 for base time. Let's see if we did all that right. Now we come to our video. We have a normal URL starting at 0. We don't have autoplay set or anything like that, just so I'm not being annoying. We click on, okay, 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Okay. Oh my goodness. The video goes right to 2 minutes and 2 seconds. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. But that's about half an hour. And usually I like to keep the videos to about half an hour. So it looks like there's going to be a part 2 where I'll show you how to, we had to do the hashtag still. We'll do the hashtag, and then we'll set up this show more to collapse the thing. It's going to start small, and then you can optionally expand it. So we don't have too much more to cover. We covered quite a bit of it. Yeah, it's probably going to be a short wrap-up video for the next one, and I'll see you there. Later.